We got the best of 5 grand finals. For those of you who were not here earlier, just to catch you up a little bit, we got Space Station Gaming coming in from the upper bracket, which means they have a 1-game advantage in this best of 5. So they only need to win 2 games in order to take this series. Wildcard, on the other hand, they got to take 3, Crooks. Got to take significantly more. 1 is significant, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. After seeing these guys play each other a little bit earlier, it felt like Wildcard was completely lost in regards to the Croak pick for Proster. That seemed to be such a big issue for them, is that SSG was just playing with so much tempo and so much confidence that they would get very good starts and would just kind of run away with the game.
Right.
Proster would just do far too much damage, and Rare Peep on heroes like Baku and Thorn just wasn't responding effectively enough to shut him down. And then Averse on the Jumong was just firing away.
Yeah.
Just dealing damage. Insane amounts of damage the whole time. And I kind of feel like it's such a weird situation. The draft will be important, but I almost don't feel like as Wildcard you're trying to ban Croak. I feel like the last thing you want to do is ban Croak.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
I think the solution is just playing a different backline, not playing like a Lucy or an Older, and being more aware of the Croak pick. But that's much easier said than done, obviously. I mean, we've seen them play a lot of Pestilence in the past 3 games. Do you think that's something we could potentially see against Croak?
I'm not sure how good Pestilence is in the Croak.
Yeah.
It seems like he has too many tools to avoid pretty much everything you've got to throw out there. He's just so mobile. He can switch targets so easily. He doesn't have to commit very hard on anything. It's just too easy for him to move around. It seems very difficult. I think the issue that they're coming up with is I feel like both of the ranged heroes that they would be planning to play for, or all 3 of them really, Ashka, Alicia, and Jumong, all have some struggles against Croak in sort of their own ways. Now, the difference is that Wildcard could potentially look to play the Varish flex, but they would be playing Rare Peep. Rare Peep is sort of their Varish player, I believe. And at that point, you would be looking at something like a Ninja support with a Jeter melee, which we have seen before. But I think if I'm Wildcard, I feel like these guys in the draft, Jeter is always very logical, right? And unless he feels like they're equipped after 2 other series to just play better, I almost feel like Jeter will be looking for some way to shake things up. And I feel like they're role switch in that way, putting Rare Peep on the Varish, which Croak is very slippery even for Varish, but Varish is not going to take any damage.
He doesn't care. He's like,
he literally doesn't care. You put a 40 damage barrier on yourself, nothing hurts.
Yeah.
And then if at any point you catch the Croak without hops, the judgment will just blow him.
You just step on the frog.
Yep. And Rare Peep's Varish has looked great. It actually makes me sad that you guys haven't gotten to see it yet today because it is crispy.
Crispy about that in and out we're about to eat after this.
Exactly. It's unbelievably good. The first ban on a set of Wildcard is actually going to be Bloom's Ulrich. They don't want to play against that. And SSG is going to lead with a Jumong ban.
The Jumong ban is interesting.
That is. I don't...
Okay, so we got a Paloma. We talked about earlier how the Paloma doesn't care about Croak nearly as much as, say, Lucy or Older.
Yep.
Of course, the AoE fear. Very, very valuable, very helpful. So it's something that Croak has to worry about a whole lot more. He can't just run in and hold M1 and all that jazz. So kind of dissuading the Croak pick early on, being like, hey, we're playing Paloma. Please don't play Croak. We don't want to deal with that. But that does lead into a Jumong potential pick for Space Station Gaming, because I feel like Jumong's pretty good against the Paloma. Just outranges her so far, can harass from a distance. Just a very good pick. Oh, but we're going to see the Iva. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure you were going for that. Yeah, the Iva first pick is interesting. SSG, of course, made it to LAN on the back of Rook Iva Older. Like, incredibly competent players at their roles. Versus Iva is very, very good. It's improved so much over the course of time. And I think Iva is a pretty interesting first pick here. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but now the Jumong ban makes a little bit more sense. That's a matchup you aren't necessarily looking for.
Yeah.
So the Iva pick makes some sense here, though I'm struggling a little bit to see where they go with it. They could follow it up with something like a Rook pick here, or they could follow it up with an Older pick, which I think could be pretty likely, seeing as Older is not banned.
Whoa.
Serious, interesting.
I wonder if we have these picks reversed, or if Space Station Gaming is actually just playing Sirius. Because I don't think I ever remember seeing Bloom play Sirius.
You know what's funny is I think you're right. I think these picks wrong.
I feel like Wildcard is probably on the left here.
Am I getting pranked right now?
I mean, it would make more sense for Space Station Gaming to ban Ulrich, right? If we could get production to verify this, that'd be very cool. But this
I've never seen Bloom play Ulrich. Yep. There you go.
Hey, we did it.
Hey. Look at that. These picks make so much more sense now. The SSG Ulrich ban against Wildcard makes sense. Jumong ban against Averse makes sense, right? The Paloma Varish is something Averse and Bloom have played a ton. And then you see the Sirius and you're like, Bloom has never played this hero.
Yeah, I was like, what?
And has never wanted to play this hero. Every time he's been asked to play this hero, he says something that I can't say on air. So
if you ever become friends with Bloom, ask him how he feels about Sirius. Just ask him about Sirius. I mean, there's a reason he doesn't like him. It's because it's one of the few heroes he just has no business playing.
Incredible.
Look,
this is how nuts we are at casting, is we even detected that picks were
Don't
switched.
say we.
What?
That was me. How are you just trying to piggyback on that? Get out of here.
I thought we were a team. Apparently not. Understood. You just no, it's fine.
Excuse you.
It's fine. Go ahead and establish the parameters of our friendship. I'll fall in line. That's fine. Nobody's taking credit for anything now. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm good with that. Yeah,
I did
fine.
this. Crooks did nothing.
No, that's fine. We're good. Yeah. I'm okay with it. Let the dice roll. Fine.
Wildcard versus Space Station Gaming. So this Jumong ban, this is something I was thinking about last series. Last series with these two teams. I like this because a versus Jumong was what was really enabled by the Croak. So I feel like kind of by taking out the Jumong, you don't care so much about the Croak anymore, right? If you take out the Jumong, what was dealing so much damage off the back of the pressure, it's kind of like, what is the Croak pressure really setting up? So a very smart ban from Wildcard.
Man, this looks like a Thorn to me in a lot of ways, because I feel that's the most likely hero that Proster would pick or would want in this situation. The Bako ban is quite good, I think. I think the Shifu is highly unlikely. I think the Croak is pretty unlikely too. I feel like Croak Paloma is one of the most absolutely suspect support melee duos in this game. It's terrible. Man, the Rook ban is smart as well for Wildcard. I don't really know where else this could be headed other than Thorn.
Are you speaking for Wildcard?
No, for Space Station.
For Space Station, I guess the Thorn kind of makes sense. We don't really see Proster play Bako, kind of something we talked about earlier.
Yep.
The Croak could be okay. Jamila and Shifu aren't really characters. Yeah, I'm not really sure what they might bring to the table. All things are pointing towards the Thorn.
That's what it looks like to me. And then on the side of Wildcard, I'm sure Bako was the ideal melee they would have liked to have gotten here. Wildcard could go with the Croak themselves, but I don't think they will. And SSG are actually going to be running triple range here. Yep.
Whoa. Wildcard's playing Taya?
This is weird.
Whoa.
What is this?
Speaking of characters that aren't characters, my god, it's been a while since I've seen this. And you know what that tells me? That's a... wait, actually, I don't even know if I'm right, but do you think that might be a rare peep, Taya?
That's definitely a rare peep, Taya.
This is what he entered into the scene playing.
That's absolutely a rare peep, Taya, yeah. Rare peep is another one of the really great Taya players. Unfortunately, I feel like rare peep has been a player that's always kind of been slept on a little bit, or people have talked of him a little bit quieter, but this kid is, in an individual situation, very, very mechanically strong. I remember I first heard about him because my friend Haidar was always talking about how this guy just played 1v1s against people, just nonstop. His individual mechanics are very strong, and Taya was what he came up playing. This team comp is really weird, though. Very strange, and I don't know how good it is against what SSG is running. It's this triple range comp. I've played this before. It's very strong.
Oh, wait. Oh, you're talking about SSG. Sorry, yeah. I thought you were talking about the other side. We just have weird comps on both sides.
Yeah, they're very, very strange, yeah. Though I would say SSGs is more standard. I've played the comp on the side of SSGs before. I feel like Varash +1 in a triple range comp is generally very, very strong, and I think Destiny is a great hero to combine with that.
This kind of harkens back to when I used to play competitively. We used to play Jade Varesh. Yeah. You can just find these huge bursts of damage off of Judgment, and sometimes you just kill someone immediately. Like, imagine a Judgment with a fully charged M2 from Averse. The amount of damage that does is just absolutely insane. On the other side, it's so rare that you see the only melee character on a team being the support.
I was very surprised that they went another ranged hero. It was kind of shocking for me. I really expected to see something like a rare Peep Thorn here, but that's not what we got. But I'm not surprised that they're just trying things. At this point, like I said, I felt Jeter, as far as a drafter goes, he was more likely to try and shake something up than to just try and keep ramming his head against the wall. That being said, I think Taya is not the hero you want to break a triple range comp like this. I don't think Taya is terribly good at that. She can deal decent damage if you can farm the ulti fast enough, but in general, I just don't see it yet. But I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Oh, I like the double Petrify take from Ninjas. I think that makes a lot of sense with this comp. We see the counter proc here. He's going to use it to go back to his ally. I think I kind of like that. What was that X-Strike? Rare Peep, hello?
Yeah.
No damage sticking from that, but my god, was it flashy.
Pretty nice. Easy orb confirms with Taya. Again, nice tornado. The new tornado battle right with the shield and the cooldown reduction seems quite potent. Averse going to whip his counter, unfortunately, but he's out of there. The double petrify again with the setup by Reupload. The ninja's laser forcing the other side, and the panic out of the tracker beam. Everything is going right for SSG this round.
Yeah, SSG looking incredibly dominant here. Proster going to get his counter, or he's going to use his R, not getting his counter proc. The Taya ultimate getting almost no value. Bloom down bottom just being ran at. Pinball coming out. Taya getting so low here. Oh, can they find her? Oh, Bloom, he's fishing. He goes in trying to find the kill.
Oh,
Bloom might actually pay for his life for it.
He's dead. Oh my gosh.
That punish was insane.
It's not over yet, but they need to try and make a kill happen right now. They really can't let them stabilize. Unfortunately, he doesn't get his counter hit. They're going to be looking to confirm that orb. Oh, and Ninja steals that orb as well. This round should be over off of that. Jeter's got to be a little bit careful, but I don't think they're going to toss this one away.
Empowered M1 from Ninja's coming out. Tractor beam gonna stun up Destiny.
The chain stun.
Yeah, in a matter of a second, they chain stun her down, and in a round where this was a no business round.
Yep.
Reupload and Co had no business winning this round. The fact that Wildcard were able to find that kill on Bloom, a little bit of an overextension from the Paloma of SSG. I feel like Space Station Gaming probably still pretty favored in this match.
Yeah, Bloom just playing a little bit too far up, and I felt like there was no way they'd come back. Like you said, Reupload walking around with a tiny sliver of HP for most of that round, just couldn't do too much. But actually being able to crawl their way back into this was pretty ridiculous.
Damn, Ninja's flexing with those gold numbers other than damage, which was taken by Reupload. We'll see if it's enough, though. Oh, the Wind Bomb into Petrify. I forgot about this combo. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Been a while.
Forces so many outs or just gets some free CC. Really nicely played. And Destiny getting ruined up top. Averse taking so much damage.
Ninja's playing very, very far forward, but that's exactly what he's going to have to do with their comp. Great tractor beam stun that's going to stop Averse, and the follow-up taser as well. He's in so much trouble. Bloom just trying to pocket him. He takes a ton of damage. And unfortunately, Proster not getting anything done in the meantime. He's just going to get set up on Averse. Still sitting with no HP. Bloom's desperately trying to get them back into the game. Decent form ultimate is going to negate most of the serious laser as Ninjas has to disengage. And they've got Cheater a little bit on the outside. They take a decent chunk of HP.
Yeah, he gets the green shards, though, and the orb. The Taya ultimate going to come out to apply pressure, giving Jeter a little bit of space. Things are looking like they're going to work out here pretty well, though the Ghost Tool Roof does ruin Reupload's ultimate.
And a little bit of sloppy play from Proster, doesn't manage to get his counter hit. Averse once again, just barely surviving, firing a couple of shots through the wall, trying to get some shield to play with here. Proster going to counter in, looking for an option on that orb. Averse hits the counter. He has the pinball to play with, but Proster has no HP, very little energy, and Bloom is going to get petrified. They've got to leave him right now. They got to be so careful, but Proster counters in, gets other sided.
One thing I love about Ninjas is serious is that he's not afraid to cancel his ulti and counter.
Yep.
Everybody throws damage into the series when he uses his ulti, so Ninjas, he just cancels it, gets his counter proc for free. The other side gonna come out and keep Averse alive here, but it's not gonna last for long. The machine gun now comes out, trying to find the kill on Proster, and they do. Crooks, how is this comp working?
It's so difficult. The combos that they're pulling off in coordination with the Taya and the Sirius is like only something that I would think Wildcard could pull off. Like, they've been such a great combo-oriented team in the past. You know, Jeter, of course, coming from Unsung, the combo running comp of North America. You know, Krogashka, older, everything under the sun that can make a combo, those guys ran. So it's not surprising to me that any team captained by Jeter is great at setting this stuff up. Reupload is essentially just throwing boomerangs the whole time, farming an insane amount of energy at a really fast rate. He went Inspiration, which is great for that. He's got a lot of resources that can chip away at the side of SSG. But I also feel like SSG is having a lot of issues. You know, they're missing some counter hits. They're not playing together properly. They're not quite chaining their damage amp into a lot of their potential combos, as well as their comp is very fortressy. I think would inherently be pretty good against what Wildcard is running.
Yeah, and you see it here. You see the power against Reupload, who's already brought down to sub 100 HP. Not a great start here, only 20 seconds in and already at quite a deficit. The orb, though, it does go to Wildcard. Oh, Averse is just going to body Reupload down here, though, not giving him any room.
Now, this is a ridiculous start for SSG. If things go wrong now, this is just inexcusable.
Yeah, if they throw this round, then something more is wrong. It's not looking like that'll be the case, though, as they're keeping Reupload so far back in this choke. This orb going to be safely secured by the blue team as well. SSG, Crooks, they're at a 50% HP advantage.
Averse just going to run away, relocate a little bit. Proster playing very far up, procs of silence, very nice. He's weakened now, he's just going to try and get out. Good R backwards, they're just going to try and reset. Averse is taking quite a lot of damage, and here comes The Rare Peep ultimate on the Taya, not able to actually get too much. They're just pushed too far back. They can't risk it.
Yeah, can't really get in there. The orb is going to be taken once again by SSG, the Ancestral Spirit. Going to be dropped on 3. The healing wasn't even necessary, but it did dissuade any of the members of Wildcard from going in. And now the ultimate going to find the kill onto Jeter first. A great usage of pinball there.
Clean up, pretty textbook here. They've done a great job of evading the serious counters this time. Instead, they've got a pretty good read on what Ninjas is doing. I think this is when the memories start to come back a little bit. You know, these two teams have played against each other so often. I think one of the only teams I've seen that has a pretty good read on what Ninjas is usually trying to do is SSG, because they're just so accustomed to all of his different mind games and his tricks that he has in his back pocket.
Yeah.
They've been playing around the series fairly well, and they do manage to get around on the board. It looked a lot better that round. We saw some Judgment counters. You know, Averse landing an M2, followed by some Destiny damage. It's been nice. I just want to see more of that. That's definitely how they win.
We'll see if they can keep it up. Moving into round 4, of course, they do have a 1-game advantage, SSG, since they came from the winner's bracket. They only need to win 2 games. We'll see if this is the first. Petrify, not going to land on either target. Posting up for selfies, neither counter going to get procced. The taser, though, procced by 2.
Oh, that damage from Averse, just nailing Rare Peep over and over again. He's having to play this wall, and he's doing so pretty well. The Petrify hits. Luckily, Averse gets his counter, puts the EXE down on himself, so I guess they don't want to get near him, but Sirius is going to counter in, deal a decent amount of damage, but have to immediately get out his Proster. Should have an option to just get a lot of damage done here, especially since Averse has got his counter hit.
Rare Peep uses Zephyr to get out of that AoE of Averse's counter. Whoa, Ninjas chasing in towards Averse, that raw space trying to get in. The counter is broken by Tornado, and that's a pretty big miscommunication. 2 key cooldowns now down, but the Petrify lands. SSG, though, they get the orb.
Yeah, great attention on the orb by Bloom with the Wolf, just making sure they have their resources to work with. It's so important. Look at those chunks that this comp can do. Absolutely ridiculous. A bit of a preemptive Tornado. I feel like they could have held that a little longer. Jeter's in some trouble, though. They're just hammering him with a ton of damage, and he can't get out. The Judgmented Destiny counterbolt hurts.
Yeah, it hurts quite a lot, and that's what we talked about with this double range Baresh comp. You can just deal so much damage in a matter of seconds.
Oh yeah.
You see it here. That imprisonment keeping Rare Peep in. He has Judgment on him. He's got nowhere to go, Crooks. He is dead. Ninjas, all that's left. Now 2-2 moving into round 5. It seems like Space Station Gaming recognize how they need to play against this comp.
Yeah, it's going to be much more effective once they start pulling off the Judgment damage amp combos. That's why this comp can do such ridiculous stuff sometimes, is, you know, you hit that Judgment, and then you remember that ranged heroes hit the hardest of any hero option in the game, right? So once you put 2 ranged heroes together or another ranged hero with Varus, you're like, how is this fair? You know, you hit those damage numbers sometimes, you're like, how can this exist? How is this legal?
Yeah, Varesh's damage value is kind of balanced around the fact that he has an amp too, so he has generally a little bit lower raw damage output. But when you pair it with a character like Destiny, who just hits for 16 damage M1s, give that the Judgment, and suddenly you're hitting 18, 19 damage for each M1. It gets a little bit insane.
Not too great right now, though. Proster's in a bit of a bad situation, not a lot of energy, and they're going to smack Bloom really hard.
Yeah, they just lay into him here. But now they find a pretty big punish onto Jeter, only 96 HP to work with. They get the orb, though. Now green shards will be taken by Wildcard.
Here comes the ulti for Pete, too. He only has a sliver of the shield, though. He gets it once, he'll lose that whole thing, and there it goes. Zapped off. Manages to make his way out, but it's not able to hit that X strike. Averse trying to hit him around the wall, and Proster with a nice ROA is able to negate a lot of Ninja's pressure. Gets a purple on him as well. The damage fall. He knows he has to get out of there. He just wasted his counter as well. That's a big mistake.
Ninja's just popped that counter. He's going to use the ultimate to try to get any enemies off of him. And Rare Peep getting chunked so hard here, the Ancestral Spirit's going to be dropped, and it heals up Averse the full. The counter's immediately procced after, and this does not look good.
Done.
Yeah.
No, still done.
They get the kill onto Jeter up top. Rare Peep trapped in that imprisonment. This is not looking good for him. The double Petrify is there, and a nice burst of damage onto Averse, but keep in mind, other sides available. Yeah. If Averse is ever in that scary of a situation, Bloom's got his back here. Orb going to be taken by SSG. I'm serious? His life is going to be taken by SSG. Rare Peep, all that's left, he's going to die, and now 3 rounds in a row to Space Station Gaming.
The first 2 rounds, it felt like they got taken super off guard, but they've been playing sort of the fortressy nature of their comp much better, just sticking close together, mitigating the damage a little bit more. You know, Wildcard was pulling off a lot of these very intricate combos at the start, and it feels like SSG has sort of seen everything they have to offer at this point. They expect the Wind Bomb Petrify. Now they're playing around it. They're spreading properly. They're optimizing their play for what Wildcard has to offer. And some of their burst has been quite nice, but it feels like Jeter on Iva as well is suffering a lot. He's taking a lot of damage from a lot of different sources. There's not too much he can do about it because he's going to be prioritizing Zap on his teammates and on himself.
Yeah, definitely. The Taya receiving the Zap down bottom.
Oh, it's a real bad start for Bloom, though.
Yeah, Bloom getting absolutely chunked as Proster kind of separates himself from him a little bit, but HP pools are still heavily favoring Space Station Gaming.
Yeah.
Cheater's getting bodied in his trade, not doing very well at all. Bloom gonna get pulled back in thanks to that Wind Bomb, but I don't think any of that damage onto Bloom really matters. Look at the other two characters on SSG.
Yeah, none of the damage really stuck. At the end of the day, you hit the Paloma kind of hard. Look at the chain silence into the R bounce on Destiny. It's just a ridiculous amount of damage. Puts both heroes in the timeout zone. The Sirius laser is okay, but none of the damage really sticks. The EXM1 from Destiny is gross, and they cancel Jeter's ultimate.
Yeah, Jeter not getting nearly as much value as he needed. The Taya ultimate's going to be here, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to be able to get as much as they need. Ultimate is over, and Rare Peep has almost nothing to say after it. No real value there, and up top, Jeter gonna throw out Tractor.
Oh man, and they kill Averse down there.
Yeah, and wow, they actually don't manage to kill Jeter.
Yeah, that's bad.
What happened, Crooks?
They just overcommitted too hard, and they left Averse to die down there. He used all of his abilities, and he was kind of trying to commit for a kill as well, and neither of them were able to clean up anything. It's like off the back of a mistake, Wildcard might be able to tie this up. It's still doable. Varus Paloma is the scariest duo in the entire game when played properly.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see if they do manage to make it happen, though. The Zap is used, and Judgment is reapplied. Orb is taken by the red team. Wildcard were able to get it. Space Station Gaming couldn't quite steal it.
Yeah, here comes the Teo ulti. Proster has no counter as well, so they're just going to hit Bloom to death probably.
Yeah, Bloom just eating that EXM1 from Ninjas. Now Proster, all that's left. And wow, this round I thought for sure was going to go to Space Station Gaming, but Wildcard managed to take it.
It's so risky to break ranks with triple range comps, man. Like they tried to collapse for a kill and leaving Averse on his own. He was using so many of his resources like he had backup, and it just didn't turn out in his favor at all.
Averse and Co. 3-3. They had all the momentum in that last round, but they couldn't end up securing it. 4 orbs to 0 Wildcard secured, so definitely having a lot more luck getting these orbs thanks to things like the Taya X-Strike and the empowered M1 from Ninjas, stealing so much damage. We'll see if they can keep it up, though.
Definitely like to see Proster crushing the orb a little bit more, knocking it out of position, making it a little bit easier for SSG. Jeter dives in, but Bloom still has other side, and now they could potentially be in a bad situation. Ninjas dives as well, but Averse putting all of his energy into stopping Rare Peep, and both Rare Peep and Ninjas have taken huge chunks this round already.
Yeah, down 30% HP in less than 25 seconds. The orb does go to Space Station Gaming as well. Round kind of snowballing here for the blue team. Those green shards down bottom going to be picked up by Bloom, though he didn't quite need them. Not sure that little inefficiency is going to matter, though, as the Taya getting no room to do anything. Triple Petrify, I'm not sure too much comes out of this, though.
Yeah,
it looked great, but there was no significant follow-up. This team isn't stacked with stuns or anything.
Oh, they caught Taya in the Destiny EXE as well.
Yeah, this is still looking pretty rough here, Rare Peep. He's got enough energy for a Zephyr. Not sure if it's going to matter, though. It just seems like it's so hard for the red team to be able to trade favorably. Wildcard, this draft just seems very difficult.
They're just so strong. They need such good situations to deal really meaningful, like sticking, lasting damage to SSG. And those situations are so much harder to come across than like SSG's various win conditions. Great Destiny ulti by Averse to clean that one out. Proster, to his credit as well, very difficult to play Varus against Taya. An absolute nightmare, to be honest, trying to land those abilities, land a Shatter. Taya is just so good in the movement department with all the haste reapplications, with Tornado. She's got a stun that's very difficult to play around, good orb confirm, knockback, everything. So he's doing his best. He's actually been landing quite a lot of stuff. It's making a difference.
Game point here. This would put Space Station Gaming up 2-0 in the grand finals. All they need to do is claim this one game. And if we do go into a game 3, or when we go into a game 3, if Space Station Gaming wins this, I'm very interested to see how Wildcard changes up their drafts, because this seems very difficult to execute. Petrify coming out, going to start things off. Bit of a slow start here from Space Station Gaming. Oh, Ninjas, counter's not procced, bit scary here.
Decent amount of damage to Averse, but Bloom is pocketing him and should be able to heal up most of that. The Petrify scares him off. Bloom dancing around the second Petrify incredibly well. The first orb is going to go to Wildcard, though, and that's pretty big. A double taser stun by Jeter as well. Very nice. The X-Strike comes out. Frogs Averse's counter as well.
Yeah, that Hand of Judgment is forced Jeter to space away, too, from that counter ball from Averse. The R being thrown out. The tornado is there for the Sirius. Not going to take too much damage. A beautiful taser stun into Petrify. And Wildcard, they get another orb.
Yeah, they do. Averse has used all of his cooldowns now when he comes out of the counter, though. Jeter is spaced as well. Gotta imagine they're wanting to collapse on him here. A nice M2 by Averse, doing some massive damage to the enemies. The R is going to discourage him. Getting in nicely timed other side by Bloom as well. And Rare Peep has the judgment. Good zap by Jeter, though, is going to keep his teammate in it. Jeter playing the LOS very, very nice here. Averse and Thruster just setting up for mid. This orb is so important, but nobody can get it because they're petrified.
Yep, SSG not able to secure that orb, but they still have a massive advantage, and Jeter eats a fully charged M2 from Averse. A lot of damage coming out from the side of SSG and Wildcard. I'm not sure they can hang anymore at this point. This is looking all but over. Jeter eats another M2. This is rough, Crooks.
SSG is just too tanky. Wildcard is betting on these niche little scenarios where they can make these big instances of burst happen, and it's just not working out. Nice ulti attempt by Averse. He wastes the Iva space as well. This should be an option for SSG to go really, really hard on the Wildcard here. Nice Paloma ulti there, giving Averse a chance. Averse knocks him back in, forcing the tornado as well. Jeter should absolutely die here. They should be able to follow up. Can he get him? And he does. The last nice M1 from Thruster is going to finish it off.
The M1 from Paloma. Gonna finally get the kill onto Jeter. Ninja soon to follow. Rare Peep, the last of his team. SSG able to take this, and you're absolutely right about this tankiness thing. The Wildcard is just focusing on like split seconds of burst, right, where they coordinate damage together, and you generally don't think about a triple range comp as being tanky, but Inhibitor's Guard makes you so tanky. The EXM1 from Destiny makes you really tanky in scary situations. There's the counter you have to worry about from Destiny, and then there's other side. Like, where do you find these moments where you can just burst someone down?
They found it a couple times when SSG was kind of caught off guard, and it mainly comes off the back of Ninjas diving in at the right point, hitting a really meaningful charged M1 and his teammates following up on it, often off the back of a Rare Peep ulti. But as it went on, SSG just started to play more and more consistent, and it just became too difficult for them to find those situations. As I kind of felt it would be that comp. Like you said, you wouldn't think of triple range being that tanky, but with the pocketing from Paloma, the Phantasm, massive amounts of damage mitigation on one target as well as other side, Inhibitor's Guard, it can get a little bit ridiculous.
Blackstone Day is the map we're going to go to. Of course, Wildcard are now up 2-0 in this best of 5. They only need to win one more game in order to take the grand finals. Blackstone Arena Day is a pretty good map too for the way Bloom and co like to play. That Paloma, kind of a pick I'm starting to think Wildcard should probably ban.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see an early Paloma pick, especially if they're trying to shake things up and vary the drafts a little bit. Paloma can negate so many of the comps that I've seen Wildcard flex to catch people off guard. Whether it's Ulrich comps that Paloma is also very good against, whether it's some kind of weird combo comp like they just ran, Paloma is very good against that too. I would not be too surprised to see an early Paloma ban.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like earlier we saw the Jumong Paloma create a lot of issues for Wildcard in terms of being a hard to damage backline. And we've seen the Jumong ban. We've seen them try to deal with that hard to deal with backline with banning Jumong, and then the Paloma still just looked insane. So I think you probably switched from banning the Jumong to the Paloma. And of course, this is their last chance. If they don't take this game, the tournament is over, and SSG will be first place in North America. So a lot on the line here.
I think switching off of the Jumong ban is definitely reasonable. I was a little unsure of the Jumong ban to start with anyways, so I would definitely favor Wildcard banning the Paloma over the Jumong, and they're still gonna lock in the. No, those got to be wrong again.
No, I'm sure that's right. Space Station Gaming banning out the.
Oh, never mind. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, but Space Station Gaming not letting the Ulrich be played. They don't want to deal with Ninja's Ulrich, and the Jumong once again being seen as a bigger issue by the members of Wildcard. Now this first pick, I wonder what we're going to see brought to the table here is what Wildcard played last game. Didn't really work out the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, I'm just interested in their logic behind first banning this Jumong. Is this their solution to the Croak pick? I think so. They don't think SSG will pick Croak if they're not picking Jumong?
Yeah, if they don't have this like super high damage dealing character that can really like work off of the pressure of Croak, I think it makes sense not to play the Croak. It's still. I'm not sure that's the way you want to solve that problem, because the Paloma just looks so good every time Bloom plays it too.
It really does. Like. It's so difficult to say, and again, I feel it synergizes so well against a lot of what Wildcard is planning to run. So these bans, again, if we're just running it back with a similar draft, I would favor SSG already, and I feel like the last draft Wildcard played was kind of a Hail Mary, right? Some kind of back pocket strat, and They did about as best as they could, better than most people would do with a comp like that. But
Yeah,
at the end
definitely.
of the day, it still felt like they ran directly into a brick wall.
Yep. The Thorn going to be picked up by Wildcard, so
Okay.
that's what they're going to end up playing. And Blossom, a first pick for Space Station Gaming.
That's really interesting. Even with Paloma available, they went with the first pick Blossom. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I wonder what they're thinking here. If they're predicting the Thorn maybe and they like the Blossom into the Thorn better. Maybe this is just a read on the side of Space Station Gaming on the way Wildcard is thinking.
I would definitely default to guessing that they know something that we don't, right? So leading with the Blossom would make sense there. But just on paper, if Paloma isn't banned, just starting off with a Paloma pick against Wildcard would seem like something I would definitely think was strong. It synergizes well with a lot of the heroes Proster wants to play, and same with Averse. You know, you can play, no, not Jumong with it this time. You play Jade with it. You can play Varish with it.
I wonder if we see a Taya from Space Station Gaming.
I don't think so. Unless they're trying to extend this series to make my throat bleed. Which could be possible. I've been pranked by Bloom before.
That's true. Very well could be.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about the best range characters that you could play into Thorn. Thorn is a character that really likes to play from a bit of a range, and Taya, you know, it's hard to hit hasted targets, right? But I do think the Iva is just probably a better pick because the Zap Cleanse is just better. It's a much more straightforward and, you know, can help out allies a bit more. So I think that pick ends up making a lot more sense against Thorn. We'll see what they're thinking, though.
I think they could also be threatening a double support here.
Yeah.
They could pick Older, the third pick, and have Croak, Older, Blossom.
Interesting. So the Croak is picked up. The Alicia on the other side. How do you feel about the Ice Lady against Blossom Croak?
I already quite like Wildcard's draft a little bit better, to be honest. The consistency of the Thorn. Alicia, I'm not sure how she matches up against Croak, but she has the Ice Shield that applies Chill, which I imagine is very difficult for Croak to deal with.
Yeah.
She just does a lot of damage too. She can snipe across the map. I think she's quite good against Blossom, seeing as her M2 pierces as well. Shoots straight through the tree.
Yep.
Create a lot of problems for them. So I already kind of like Wildcard's draft, and I'm interested to see where SSG goes with it because, like you said, I do think the reasoning behind the Jumong ban is pretty logical, that if you ban Jumong, they're not going to be picking Croak as an addition to the Jumong comp, but they pick it anyways, so I'm not entirely sure what they go with here.
I wonder if Wildcard plays Sirius again. I think the Sirius and Thorn kind of play similarly, where they kind of sit at a range until they find an opportunity to go in. And when Thorn finds that flow and finds his way in, I think Sirius spacing in with a Thorn could be super disruptive and like very high damage. I also think Sirius does okay against Croak. He doesn't take nearly as much damage as someone like an Older would. He can kind of fight back by just, you know, whacking him with that empowered M1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think a Lucy was also another option, but Jeter's Lucy didn't look quite as good as a couple of his other heroes today.
Yeah, I think it's most likely that Jeter is still playing support, so the Sirius kind of unlikely.
That's kind of how I feel,
yeah. I feel like Ninjas probably plays the Alicia here.
It seems most likely. He was very strong on that hero before.
Now, Wildcard. The ranged character they could ban. I wonder if Space Station Gaming maybe want to play something like a Varese.
They banned the Taya. Yeah.
They think so too.
They thought so too, yeah.
Damn. So I guess I might have been onto something, but I'm gonna call it luck. I'm not gonna pretend like I was actually right. But yeah, the Older ban.
It makes sense. There's really no other options you would necessarily want to play with that, right?
Yeah, and it's almost like, how is Taya gonna get hit by Alicia or Thorn when she's hasted?
True.
What are either of those characters gonna do? But still, not gonna end up being what we see. The last pick, the ranged character, I wonder if we might see something like a Jade.
We could see Destiny as well.
Yeah,
Jade
okay.
could be a possibility, but Jade into Thorn and Alicia seems pretty bad.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
That sounds terrible, yeah. On the other side, Wildcard, I feel like a Pest is a pretty decent option here. Pest could definitely be a possibility. Jeter has played Paloma before too. Jeter has a solid Paloma.
Oh, I do like the Paloma here, actually. Paloma against the Croak for the reasons we mentioned
It's
earlier.
not great against Blossom, but it's also not that bad.
Yeah, I feel like in an ideal world, the Paloma would just never see the Blossom.
Mhm.
Like, they would never square up against each other, right?
Absolutely.
The
yeah,
Paloma
absolutely.
would just be chilling with the Thorn. And it is the Paloma, and it is the Jade. Shit, you were right about the character selection on Wildcard, and I got the Space Station pick.
Hey,
Jade Croak, this is going back to the early days, early access. Like,
Yep.
there's held over off kind of days. I'm excited to see how this works out.
I'm really surprised about the Jade. I would almost have rather picked Averse here, to be honest. Even though the synergy isn't that great, I don't know about the Jade into Thorn and Alicia, but I guess we'll see.
When I first saw the Blossom pick, my initial, like, I kind of thought, oh, Space Station Gaming just wants to have fun. They're up 2-0. They want to win their way, which is something that it's like the kind of people they are.
Not
right?
unheard of, absolutely not unheard of.
They just kind of want to do what they want to do. So they figure they have a game to throw away. If they end up losing this one, it's okay, but want to try something experimental, and I can't quite fault them, but I'm not sure how well this draft is going to work out against what Wildcard has. A much more conventional set of characters with the Thorn Paloma backline. How is the Jade going to land a snipe on that?
It seems like not great for Croak either.
Yeah.
It seems very difficult for Croak to get too much done on the backline, especially, like you said, Paloma is just so effective against those comps. One of the whole reasons we saw Croak comps completely fall out of favor was, about 7-8 months ago when Paloma was on an absolute tear in the meta and just could not be stopped, and every comp was a Paloma comp or bust back before we had bans.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't even pick combo comps. You couldn't pick setup comps back in the day at all because the Paloma was just too present, too strong.
And this is so funny because it's like these two teams have swapped styles. We've always seen,
exactly.
We've always seen Space Station Gaming as the one that plays a little bit more passive, a little bit safer. They have that Paloma to save or to give that hard out from the combo comps. And now Space Station Gaming is trying to play a combo comp against Paloma. Very strange to see that this is where we are.
I can't really call how this turned out. I don't know what these team scrims looked like or anything like that. But the first pick Blossom was like a weird ding in my head where I was like,
Yeah, kind of like, what are these players thinking?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
We'll see though. I think this is pretty doable. I think a lot of pressure is going to be on Averse's shoulders because he doesn't have the easiest matchups here. Alicia trades so favorably with Jade from a distance. The moment you look at an Alicia, you're down 45 HP. You just can't really trade with the Alicia.
You're completely outranged. The moment you channel snipe, you get E or they put the R in front of you so you explode.
Yo, my boy. Averse is going
Averse has the right build.
He has Gunslinger, he has the Delights. I like this.
I like that build too.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good build here. So he has Gunslinger, which reduces the cooldown of his stealth. When he hits an M1, I think that's incredibly important. He has the piercing disabling shot, which is good against the Thorn and Alicia. Overall, we'll see how this build works out. I do like it, though.
Yeah, I think double snipe is overrated.
Yeah, not worth.
Ooh, initial other side force on Reupload was quite nice. Playing LOS against the Jade snipe as well. And Averse should have an option to just open up a little bit. Oh, geez, he thinks he's playing the ITF build right now.
I know.
He kind of is, actually. He's just walking him to death. He can't get that snipe off. That's a bummer.
Yeah, he's found himself against the Alicia, so he took 45 damage.
Look at how hard they're running Paloma. This isn't how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, Jeter just getting absolutely ran at. The EX space, beautiful play from Reupload to get him out. Now Ninja's being healed up, and by extension, Jeter getting some nice healing. But 20% HP advantage for the red team. Ooh, that Dance of the Dryads did not work out so well as Bloom ended up hitting that Ice Crown and taking a bit of damage for it.
Yeah, the Alicia is so obnoxious to deal with as a ranged hero. Nice ulti by Jeter as well, but the snipe stun hurts so bad, and his Proster has no HP to work with. They've got to be so careful. They started off so strong here, but they've really got to watch themselves. They can get bursted.
Oh, that triple snipe, though! They didn't end up dealing that much damage because of the barbed husk up front, but still, it looked nice. This is getting pretty difficult here for Space Station Gaming as they've fallen significantly far behind, at least in terms of HP on their range DPS. They find a snipe though on Paloma, and this is still doable. The Venom Wind is there, but the other side has the out. Croak falls. Jeter, Ninjas. The snipe lands. They get the kill, actually. Bloom and Averse going to reset. Oh! The heat-seeking missiles. Reupload sees him in stealth.
Brains online, boys.
Yeah. Greens are up. Not looking like Blue team gonna get the top greens though.
Jeter swapped in and other sided. This is so scary right now. Perfect timing on the pull by Reupload to stop Averse from just channeling a snipe. And the Dance of the Dryads comes out.
Jeter. Get him! Click him! Oh, he gets him with the EXM too! My god, Reupload, all that's left. Absolutely insane that Averse and Bloom were able to take this 2v3. But they managed to. It's almost an essence of DreamHack, right?
Yeah, such a back and forth round there. The SSG started off just so dominant, pushing them incredibly hard. Jeter lost a huge percentage of his HP, but then for a while it looked like Wildcard was going to be able to stabilize. I almost feel like Wildcard maybe should have taken it a little bit slower, but it's so risky to play the attrition game against Jade because the more snipes she gets off, the more chances you have of getting nailed by that stun, and the more chances you have of just losing the game. Yeah. You just don't want to let her keep rolling the dice, you know?
Absolutely. And Averse, he was landing pretty much all of his snipes. We saw that aimbot online. He was hitting pretty much every single one of them, but still his M1 damage actually ended up being his most significant. So playing that really aggressive Jade build, like you mentioned, and it's looking really good.
Yeah, the follow-up between the Croak and Jade is quite nice. These are the kind of combos you want to be looking for, where they just sort of work off of each other rather than necessarily going for a big stun into snipe setup. So much more difficult to pull off, and the nice orb confirms by Averse.
It's just kind of like when you freestyle it, right?
Exactly.
If something just happens, it happens. Great, but it's not a requirement.
Yep, if you spend all your time looking for an in-cap into snipe, you're just going to lose the game.
Yeah, and that is definitely not how SSG is playing. Rare Peep down to 61 HP.
Oh, this is so bad for Wildcard.
Yeah, this does not look good at all. The explosive shells is online for Jade. Gonna back out and just get the orb. Space Station Gaming. The Venom Wind's gonna be used, but Roaster ended up actually taking quite a bit of damage. Oh, the
entangle. Roaster's got to get out of there though. He's taking so much damage, and Alicia can still hit so hard from so far away. Roaster's gonna collect the greens. First playing very far forward, doesn't land the snipe. Nice dance to the dries. Jeter's gonna look for panic, manages to get balloon. That's actually huge. And Roaster chooses that moment to hop in. I don't know about that. He triggers a panic as well. Has no E, no space. Great snipe from Averse though, covering the angle really, really well. They've got him worked into this corner here, though. This is looking like a Jade ultimate any second now. I'm surprised he hasn't used it. Nice space to get out of the Alicia ultimate. And there it goes. Boom, a lot of damage.
Yeah, there she goes, and Ninjas ends up taking quite a bit of damage from that. Now, walking forward with that very aggressive M1 build is the Jade. Averse gets pulled in. The Barbed Tusk going to get quite a lot of value onto Jeter. And
he missed the panic.
Yeah, he missed the panic. He does dodge that snipe, but it doesn't end up mattering. And Space Station Gaming looking so good with this Jade Croak comp.
The pressure exerted by Averse has been really, really nice. The times when he's choosing to snipe are very important, because what you're going to want to do is with Jade, you don't just channel it when you have it up, you know?
Right.
You wait for enemies to use some outs to be preoccupied elsewhere,
yeah,
and force them to either make a choice or eat the snipe. You know, you want to work people into sort of a hole. As well, we saw there when his teammates worked the enemies into a corner, Averse kind of set up with the snipe and was just shooting fish in a barrel at that point.
Yep.
That's the other situation you want to, you know, end up in. And Wildcard has been doing a great job trying to mitigate Averse's damage. They've had cooldowns every time he's tried to set up, but once again, it's inevitable. You're just going to get caught, man. Freestyle, exactly.
Yeah, it is free. That combo just happened out of nowhere off a snipe stun, and Jeter eats another one. Man. Look at that duration.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad.
Oh, God, Jeter. Run, Jeter, run!
He's trying his best.
He's got nowhere to go. The other side invisibility is going to save him for just a second, but still.
Great silence to interrupt the wolf as well. These guys are playing so close around each other.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just wow. Space Station Gaming looking like the best team in North America once again. There was a question after Season 2 when they lost, but this looks really good. 3 rounds to 0 now.
I'm sorry, I doubted this comp. I didn't know this was in the chamber, but the decisions they're making and the way they're playing around each other is really clean. And like you said, the freestyle combos, that can only happen if you're in sync with your teammates and
absolutely.
If you know what's going on. And these guys just have perfect little setups. Everything is being timed really well.
Everything kind of SSG firing on all cylinders here in this potential final game of the grand finals. If they win this game, they win $7,000. It's a pretty big amount of money. You know they definitely want that. And SSG, or not SSG, but rather Wildcard, if they lose, only get $3,500.
It's not over yet. Great snipe flick by Averse on the other side, uncharacteristically very late from Jeter, as already Wildcard forced retreat. Averse gets locked down, but he doesn't even care. He'll just snipe right in their faces, cancels it, gonna take the orb instead. That's the other great thing. Jade is awesome for orb control.
Yeah.
You can get tempo and just confirm the orbs over and over again. Rare Peep has used the burrow. This is looking like another snipe setup for Averse.
Wow.
Manages to snag Jeter yet again. This is a Paloma's nightmare.
The end cap comes out too, and so much damage onto Rare Peep. He does burrow away, but like...
Great silence again.
Yeah. Oh, entangling roots on the stealth Jade. Very nice there from Rare Peep. This is still not looking good, though, as yet another orb goes to Space Station Gaming.
They just don't have too much of the initiative to actually deal damage. Great Alicia ulti catches Averse in stealth. Gonna have to space away, but the follow-up damage on Jeter, he has nothing. The Jade harasses Paloma so hard. We knew this going in, but I didn't think it would be that bad. I thought Thorn and Alicia, with the amount of AoEs the Thorn pull, the Entangle, they will be able to stop him from just harassing the Paloma constantly. But somehow Averse is able to tiptoe around all of this CC and just channeling snipes on Jeter over and over again. It seems like there's nothing they can do to stop it. Yeah. I was convinced that the AoE of Wildcard would shut this down.
Yeah, but not having any luck with that. The AoE not doing nearly as much as you would have hoped. Now we're at potential match point. Space Station Gaming on the verge of claiming this first place spot. Wildcard, they need to win 5 rounds in a row.
It's a great start already. They force Rare Peep's burrow. They catch him with the snipe. He has no energy and the space stun. They've used the other side as well. This is where Proster's going to want to go in. Even the follow-up damage, the silences by Averse have been really great. Missed snipe there. Ninjas in-capped. Proster looking for another target. The follow-up with Averse. A good Barb Husk. Averse is probably going to be looking to just snipe the orb here. He's going to ulti the orb, then turn and ulti Wildcard. Very smart.
Yeah, I like it. He lands that snipe onto Rare Peep as well. Down bottom, the end cap comes out. The Dance of the Dryads is there. And so much pressure in this corner from Space Station Gaming. The snipe is not going to land, but I think it's okay here. Blossom, she's starting to get pretty low. Needs to play a little safe. Averse has that EXQ. Gets out of that Paloma ultimate. The snipe comes out as well. So much damage onto Jeter. One snipe is about a third of his HP.
Oh, here comes the Dance of the Dryads. Ninjas has used space. Proster wants it so bad. The other side comes out. Jeter dodges it. Such clean footwork from him, and Proster's in a little bit of trouble now, and they're going to take the frog.
Proster does die. This is still doable for Averse. Bloom trying to help his ally here. He has that Dance of the Dryads. They need to find Averse. Oh, that was pretty scary here. Gonna instead opt for the orb. I thought Averse might flick that. He gets the burrow though. Very close here. Ninjas got not very much HP to work with. The Entangling Roots comes out. The tree is available for Bloom, but he's going to choose to hold it. That snipe forcing a lot of outs, Crooks. This could be a moment. The tree is kind of dropped in the Ancestral Spirit. Not ideal as Averse has to leave it. That Ghost Wolf dealing quite a lot of damage too. The Barbed Husk going to keep Rare Peep alive. This is scary. The orb once again goes to Space Station Gaming. The greens are up too. Averse gonna pick those up shortly. The Entangling Roots and Pole combined together gonna force Averse to have to use one of his outs. The freeze is there, and wow, they're just grabbing Averse.
The space stun is so powerful. If Averse gets a clutch silence off, they could potentially burst somebody. He's playing just outside the fog. Manages to snipe Jeter. Bloom's holding onto that ultimate.
Okay.
Lets it rip now. It doesn't get canceled. They've used other side as well. Rare Peep has nothing to save him from Daedra. He has the Barbed Husk. He's holding it just in case of the last second. They are going to kill Bloom just narrowly. Oh, that attempted flick from Averse. These guys are so dangerous to play against.
If that snipe had hit, I think the 1v3 might have been possible there, but at the end of the day, not gonna happen. Space Station Gaming can't take that in Wildcard, clutch it out, but it's a long road ahead, Crooks. Need 4 more round wins in order just to get out of this game. They can't drop another round.
I'm not gonna lie, I was having flashbacks from season 1 LAN,
same.
and I was just letting you talk because it was Averse and Bloom in a 2v3, and I was like, is this Averse's chance for redemption, right?
Yep.
He's coming back to do the other 2v3 of SSG's history to win another tournament. I thought I could see it coming. I could see it in the stars, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, not this time. Space Station Gaming, though, still in a very favorable position to take this tournament. Rare Peep aggressing onto Averse, and Averse, he's actually getting chunked pretty hard here, Crooks. But on the other side, Jeter, he's not doing any better.
Not a great start for SSG, to be honest. Proster's getting a decent amount of damage on Jeter, actually. Yep.
Yeah.
Triggers a panic. This is good. Rare Peep gets a good amount of damage in. He's halfway to ulti as well. 3/4 to ulti. He's building a lot of energy on the floor. Nicely timed other side. Ninja's moving forward at a pretty good time. Great follow-up snipe as well. Dance of the Dryads comes out, weakens everybody. Bloom putting out so much pressure. Proster doesn't have a lot of HP, but he's playing to his outs pretty carefully. He's holding onto that Crowfield as well, and a nice entangle in stealth, followed by the ulti from Rare Peep. He's finding them a lot of space to run.
Bloom tried to gust it, but had no luck. The orb going to go to the red team. Wildcard do manage to get it. Ultimate drop from Jeter's Paloma. Rare Peep, or not Rare Peep, but rather Proster in a little bit of trouble. He hits that Barbed Husk too, not ideal.
Averse still trying to channel snipes on the Jeter. Somebody's got to go down, take those greens, good entangle, interrupting yet another Dance of the Dryads. Averse uses silence a little bit preemptively. Great snipe into Jeter and gets caught with a Boom Bloom and a shell from the ulti. Every scrap of HP counts so much. He's used all of his outs, but Proster procs a panic. He wants the kill so bad, but he's just going to disengage, take those greens. This gives Averse and Bloom a lot of space. This is looking so good for SSG all of a sudden, as long as Proster survives.
Next orb spawning in 4 seconds, and SSG definitely want that. They might be able to secure their this round if they do get it, which they do. 10% HP advantage. Proster trying to go in. Jeter, he has the Ancestral Spirit, and he will drop it. Not getting a lot of value. The freestyle combo finds the kill onto Jeter, and now Space Station Gaming looking so dominant here. Rare Peep, not too much HP to work with. The Barbed Husk is there.
Wow.
He will fall. Ninjas, all that's left, and Space Station Gaming are your champions of Season 3, North America region.
What a surprising day. I wouldn't have called this right from the beginning, but such a strong showing against Wildcard really, set us up for a pretty interesting grand final where they respond with a clean 2-0, technically 3-0, 2-0 against Wildcard, shutting them out completely in that last game with a comp that I did not expect.
Yeah,
but I'm so happy we saw.
Dude, that comp was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
The things they were doing, the freestyle combos like out of nowhere, so exciting. And that's one of my favorite things about Battle right? When you just see teams working together and you see the game played at its highest level, it's always a ton of fun.